Ladies and gentlemen, round one, week one, it's in the books. Some pretty big scores out there if you owned SGA, Wemby, Giannis and the likes. A few injuries that we had also that hampered quite a few squads. We'll look at all of this and more right after this. Good evening and welcome back to our first review show, NBA SuperCoach 2025. I am the horse, and joining me in the passenger seat this evening is a man that scored pretty well himself. It's Brain Talks Paul. How are you, Braino?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Not as well as yourself. It looks like you've had a cracker of a week, and I know you're not the bragging type. So someone's got to do it for you. But yeah, $8.99, not a bad start. I'm pretty happy with that. I think it puts me at 832 rank wise. So it's all pretty congested at the moment. Rank doesn't really mean too much. There's 50 points can swing you a couple of thousand in the ranks in week one. But yeah, good start.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to not get lost in the fact that it is round one, and there's only the top score was 1,007, I believe it was. So when you look at that and look at your score, you're really only 100 points off top spot at the moment. Yeah,
let's just hope that I'm not 100 points off top spot weekly for 23 rounds, because that's a fair way to come back. But yeah, look, there's still so much to play out. Obviously, we've already seen this week injury carnage we'll talk about very soon. But I ended up with KPJ, Ricochet and Luka. If Luka simply just played that last game, I was obviously looking at around that 950 mark. So but anyway, it is what it is. A couple of injury corrections and a couple of correction trades this week, and we'll be right.
Yeah, for sure. For me, again, KPJ as well. Jalen Wells type from the Memphis Grizzlies. He was the one that shat the bed a little bit for me. Kedda, from the center from Boston, he was quite nice in the flex spot, but you just can't go past the likes of Doncic and Wemby and SGA, and like the big 4 or 5 were just awesome this week, weren't they?
So good. We'll talk about it more in depth in the rewind, but like the guys who expected to go big, they went big. Wemby, Giannis, SGA, Curry, Luka are probably the 5 guys that, we were toying around with. How many can we get in our team? How many of these guys can we get? And usually the answer was 3. But it didn't really matter which way you went, because all of them scored pretty well. So, obviously off the back of some pretty good scores as well.
Yeah, it was really good. The Insight crew that we've got both here and inside the Patreon, we had quite a few good scores in there with multiple people inside the Patreon going over 950 as well. So again, if you want access to our Patreon, the link is in the description below. It is a third of a cup of coffee per week. That's right. Cheap as chips to get the insights, everything we do, trade targets, waiver targets, the whole lot, not just for NBA SuperCoach, but for your classic fantasy as well. Braino, what do you reckon we get into? Actually, let's talk about the league code first for those of you at home that want to get involved in our league. It's 817149. I repeat, 817149. Braino, if you finish top of that league, what do you win?
Win yourself a Standard Squeeze prize pack, thanks to the Standard Squeeze for sponsoring the show from day one. Good people over there. And they've given us, anywhere up to, $50-$60 every single week for us to give away in this league. So jump on in if you haven't yet. It's not too late. We'll close that league probably end of week 5. So, get in quick, win yourself a Standard Squeeze 4-in-1 little mug there. Like I've got this one. I sometimes have a whiskey in it. Sometimes I've got a coffee or a tea in it. Usually depends on the time of day as to what type of drink I have. But it keeps it hot. It keeps it cold whenever I want it to. And the combo packs as well. If you want the perfect pour, you get yourself 4 little different size combo packs that pours the perfect shot into your drink if you're one of those spirits drinkers.
100%. And this week, the winner is Vanilla Ice Magic, coached by Joel. He scored 985 this week, an absolute monster score, overall rank of 7. So, Joel, if you're watching, or if you get word that you are, in fact, the top scorer in the Insight League this week, message us, because we've got a prize pack coming out to you, thanks to the guys at the Stand Squeeze. 985, that's massive.
I'm just trying to load his team up real quick. My internet's not cooperating. Who did he have in his team? Oh, here we go. It's loading up now. SGA VC into a Wemby captain. Yeah, that makes sense. He also had Austin Reaves. From day one. Great little pick there. You got Trey Johnson on the bench too. Bench is making a little bit of money. Paolo Banchero's a bit disappointing there. I'm sure he's not overly thrilled about that. But yeah, the rest are as per. you'd think. Started VJ Edgecombe on a double. Some
Ballsy.
Yeah, some interesting moves. Went with Devin Booker. That didn't really work out as much as we'd want it to. But I'm sure he'll come good. But yeah, take the 7th overall. That's awesome. Hopefully he has a good crack at it.
100%. Now let's get into what we learnt in this past week. The number one thing for me, Braino, in the NBA SuperCoach landscape from week 1 is that the Indiana Pacers are dog shit at center. There could be 7 people rotating through that spot.
It's my concern was, and I loved Isaiah Jackson in the preseason. I was super high. I just like him as a player. Super high on him, but fuck, he's been shit. Like the first 2 or 3 games, the minutes just aren't there. It seems to be centre by committee. Obi Toppin was doing a lot of work there in the 4 and the 5. Pascal Siakam obviously doing a lot of work in the 4 and the 5, and they just rotated those 2 guys. Mm-hmm. And obviously that hurts Jay Huff. It hurts Isaiah Jackson. And no one's looking at Tony Bradley. No. But yeah, there's just a lot to be concerned about. If you're an Isaiah Jackson owner, what are you doing, Horse?
Oh, I'm selling. 100% yep. I'm selling. Not just because of the injury crisis there, but like he's one of the healthy ones and he still can't crack regular minutes. So at that price, you can go down to a Ketter or you can save a couple of mil and just go grab Ryan Kalkbrenner. Yeah,
I mean, we were lucky enough to both start with Ryan Kalkbrenner, and that not only freed up tons of cash for us across the rest of our squad, but he will make some good K. He made $550K this week. He's going to come in this week with a negative break even. I think he's got the 3rd best break even this week. So if you don't have Ryan Kalkbrenner, he's definitely a guy that you should be considering to not only just free up cash to make other moves, but as a genuine cash cow.
Oh, 100%. The rookie class for this year, Brain, I want to talk about. You've got Kalkbrenner that you aforementioned. You've got Cooper Flagg, who came in with this aura. And don't get me wrong, he did some good things, but probably it's fair to say he didn't exceed expectations, that's for sure. VJ Edgecombe, 2-game week, very, very good. So if you don't have him, I'd suggest targeting him this week. Ace Bailey was quiet, but again, they only had a 2-game week. Dylan Harper off the bench at the Spurs. It's pretty safe to say that this group of rookies that we have right now, it's pretty exciting in comparison to last year's and the lack of excitement we had there.
It's a much better rookie class to start with, but yeah, no, I completely agree. There's a lot of excitement. I mean, Kalkbrenner, yeah, great. VJ Edgecombe was elite. Like he looked like he's a 2nd or 3rd year player. Yeah, and definitely a guy that I think we should all be considering playing on court this week. Philly have a 4-game week this week, so I definitely think that there's merit there to just play him while Paul George is out. I think that's probably the caveat to that. Like there's a risk there that Paul George might play a game or 2 at the back end of week 2. So yeah, just keep an eye out on news on that. But at the moment, I'd be more than comfortable to play VJ Edgecombe on court to free up moves elsewhere. Dylan Harper's also been better than I thought he would be. I just wasn't 100% sure on what that role would look like. And obviously with no De'Aaron Fox, he's taken that and ran with it to a point where honestly, I don't even know if they need De'Aaron Fox anymore. How good has Dylan Harper been? Like honestly,
he's been unreal. Yeah, he just looks so composed with the ball, doesn't look rushed, makes good decisions, and it just looks like he's seamlessly fit in with his teammates. So, yeah, Fox, I'm not going to say he's expendable because he's a very good player, but if these young kids like Harper and Castle keep coming on, you got Vassell there with Wemby, like they've got pieces there to be really good and perhaps could get off that Fox contract and look further ahead and gather better youth as well.
Yeah, we will see. We mentioned Ace Bailey. He's averaging 0.5 points per game at the moment. Don't stress. Do not panic. Trade him out. He, like Magnus Sherlock here in the chat said, Ace Bailey had the flu and a knee issue. So yeah, definitely tendonitis in both knees is never good. It's never a great thing, but he's young. I'm sure that's just a management thing. I'm sure that they knew this when they drafted him. And yeah, obviously working through illness last week, he was on a minutes restriction of 15 minutes per game. So do not panic. He will be fine. If you have him in your team, there is no one that you should be trading him out to. He will be fine as a slow burn on the bench that you don't have to play.
Yep, just leave him there. They had a 2-game week as well first week. They'll just be easing him into NBA play. He'll get his minutes and his dues this week. Pretty certain of that. Braino, we're going to talk injuries. And I'm going to throw to you because there are some very relevant injuries, not just ones that preceded the season starting, but some injuries that happened during the week this week that sort of threw some teams into some chaos.
Yeah, it did. I mean, look, we've known Tyler Hero and LeBron James have been out. They're going to be reassessed in the next 2 to 4 weeks, both of those guys. But, in the short term, Davion Mitchell took his opportunity with both hands in Miami. He was fantastic the last week or so. Would I look at him? Probably not. I just feel like maybe there's some better value for money around there in the SuperCoach world for Davion Mitchell than at that position as well. We're looking to load up. There's a couple of guys that are putting their hand up this week on 4-game weeks. So, just keep an eye out there on Davion Mitchell's upside, though, when the Miami schedule opens up. And LeBron James, look, we're going to very quickly talk about Austin Reaves and how it's Austin Reaves week. But, yeah, no Luka. No LeBron means Austin Reaves wheels up. I think it's just more a matter of maybe it being a 1 or a 2 week play until LeBron comes back. And then as soon as LeBron comes back, you can jump off Austin Reaves.
You had the stats there, didn't you, for the 3 games that Austin Reaves has played without Luka and without LeBron?
Yeah, I did. Let me get it up. Sorry, you put me on the spot. It is.
Memory, yeah.
It is. So obviously he went 51 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists tonight. He went 37 points, 8 rebounds, 13 assists the last time he didn't play with Luka and Bron. And then the other game was 45 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. So those 3 games, he's averaging around 45 points, 9 rebounds, and 10 assists without Luka and without LeBron. So this next week to 2 weeks, depending on how long Luka's out, that, excites me a lot and definitely somebody that I'll be considering this week.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew Nembhard at the Indiana Pacers, though. Shoulder injury, got tangled up with SGA during their game against the OKC. Haven't really heard too much, but he's going to be reevaluated on the 29th of October. So you would think that he's probably a trade out, given that it's not a return date, it's a reevaluation date.
Yeah, probably. I mean, look, Ben Shepherd's the guy that gets the bump, but in saying that, when a player gets reevaluated, it doesn't mean they're returning. It just means that they're getting a timeline. It's like they don't have a timeline at the moment. We're going to reevaluate where he's at in X amount of time. And then we're going to make a decision on what the timeline to return from injury actually looks like. So, don't expect Andrew Nembhard back super quick. We're going to get a better idea from Wednesday what that actually looks like.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, we have Kevin Porter Jr. So a lot of us started with KPJ at the point guard spot, and don't get me wrong, he started off like a house on fire, didn't he? Scored 10, 12 SuperCoach points really quickly, and then that ankle sprain we didn't see him for the rest of the week. How's that looking?
That killed me. I think this is more short-term than long-term. I think, initially they said high ankle sprain, which syndesmosis is normally surgery in 4 to 6 weeks minimum. I don't think it's that. They haven't mentioned anything like that. I think there is every chance. And I mean, he got listed questionable. So they said he's going to miss the next 2 games. I'm assuming that reevaluation period's coming up now. And we can probably make a decision on what we do with KPJ pretty quickly. I'm okay if you want to sell. I completely understand why you'd want to sell if you want to use him as a bit of a downgrade to one of these really popular cheapies we'll talk about later. But I can't argue against holding him either, considering he might be back this week.
Mm-hmm. Just wish we had some certainty, hey?
It's hard in the NBA world, isn't it? You never get any sort of certainty, depending on the team as well. Some teams are fantastic when it comes to injury reporting. Other teams are dog shit putrid, like Memphis. They are terrible. You're never going to know what's going on in Memphis. Yeah, shout out Matrix.
No, terrible when it comes to injury reporting. Luka, so he's got that finger injury and a leg contusion. He will be reevaluated. He won't be back in a week. He'll be reevaluated in a week, Braino. How's that looking for him? That's, I guess, a hand injury or finger injury and a leg injury. Do you think this is just rest up? You've had a big preseason, had a big start of the year. Here's a week off, or do you think there's more to it?
No, I don't think there's more to it. I just think that they're extra cautious on Luka. I mean, look, a leg contusion is just a bad bruise. Maybe it's bone bruising. Maybe it's just a bad knock that he copped. Obviously, that groin, he was looking pretty ginger as well when after he pulled up with that groin. So maybe there's a little bit there they're not telling us. But at the same time, I'm sure we'll talk about Luka when we're talking about who to buy and who to sell. But yeah, it's just a shame because that 3rd game could have been huge for owners. That could have really bumped us up if you took him. And now we're going to be without him. So yeah, like we said, Austin Reaves is going to be the target there. But also there's a couple of other beneficiaries too.
definitely. Anthony Edwards left the game today, right hamstring issue on a drive to the hoop, missed the shot, looked at the ref, walked off the court, came back 10 minutes later in street clothes. Hamstring awareness, as we know it as here in Australia and New Zealand. Right hamstring tightness is what the Americans were saying on the air today. Hamstrings are just something that you don't want to play with, especially such a high-profile athlete and such an explosive athlete like Edwards. You'd probably expect him to miss a game or two, wouldn't you?
I think so, yeah. Especially a player. I mean, he doesn't normally miss games. He's usually really fit and plays the majority of the games each year. I remember he went down last year with that really bad-looking ankle injury, and he was back like 2 games later. So, he just loves getting on the court. He's usually fit and healthy. But hamstrings, you're right, the highest recurrence of injury of anywhere in the body. So you've got to be really careful with how you rehab those. Usually any sort of grade 1 hamstring strain is a week or 2 as a minimum. Otherwise, you go out there and do that again, he's sitting on the sideline for 6 weeks. And that's not something that Minnesota need.
No, not at all. Brandon Miller's a funny one too. A shoulder injury, went off the court after only, I think he played like a bit over a quarter. Heard not much out of the Hornets camp, but again, if you've got him in SuperCoach, he's got to be a sell.
Sadly, yeah. I don't think many people have him. He's quite low owned, but yeah, it's tough. They haven't given us any updates. So it's, when it comes to uncertainty around player returns, I always lean towards longer rather than shorter. So, and especially in the SuperCoach format, when you're looking at a guy that's 14, 15 million or even 20 million like Luka, you can't have that much money on your bench doing nothing for you. You just have to utilise that money elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bit of a comment here from one of the fans of the show. IJ, is IJ from Indiana as bad as IJ from Sydney? Worse.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As in our man from Sydney's worse.
Oh, okay. No, we love IJ. Isaiah Jackson, Ian Johnson, the Spider-Man meme where they pointing at each other. That's what that is.
Unreal. One injury that we haven't brought up that was on our injury report there, but needs to be noted is Chet Holmgren. So for those that went the pod play and picked up Chet, he dislocated his thumb on a block attempt in the third quarter of their last game. Went off, came back on. He shot it actually pretty well when he came back on as well. But it's probably something to monitor, especially given that OKC have 4 games this coming week, and there may be a potential for rest in one of those games, Braino.
Yeah, I'm seeing he's actually being pretty well purchased across SuperCoach at the moment. So my worry is that people are going to jump on Chet and be disappointed that he's not playing a 4-game week. They might get 2 or 3 games out of him, but I would expect that they're, especially with a guy, your finger injury doesn't really seem like much, but when you're blocking the ball and when you are a centre as or power forward as Chet is, rim protection is going to be important. He gets his finger jammed in someone going in for the drive or on a block. You're in all sorts there. So I'm very surprised if he ends up playing game 1.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, mate. For any other injury news and all that sort of jazz, we will have it inside of our Patreon later tonight as well. Anyone else you wanted to add to that before we move on?
Someone in the chat said Joel Embiid. That's more of an injury management thing, not an injury concern, so to speak. So, yeah, we expect that from guys like Joel Embiid. He will not play back-to-backs. He'll often get rested even on a day turnaround. They're going to be managing him pretty closely, as they will be with Paul George, Al Horford, all of those kind of guys that have these chronic injuries or acute injuries that they struggle with. They'll be managed pretty heavily.
Yeah, 100%. What's this about clown wigs?
You're in the AFL world. Yeah, we're going to have to bring you over to the NRL world. So whoever got the lowest score each week out of Josh, Matrix, and myself in the NRL show had to wear a clown wig. We all bought them.
Okay.
And the winner gets to wear the crown hat. Matrix's insight. Where's mine? Insight crown hat. So that's you this week, Horse.
Okay.
You get to wear the crown hat. I don't know what Matrix scored, 863. So Matrix would get the clown this week. He'd have to wear the clown wig. So we're going to have to try and sort something out there. He's going to owe us a clown wig.
We might have to post something on the socials. Now, I did actually, I know this is NBA SuperCoach aside, but I actually did some research about how you NRL people celebrate. So I did a Google search today, and the first thing that popped up was Fountain of Youth, Todd Carney. I'm not going to get into it, but I think you know what I mean.
Everybody knows what that means. The bubbler, they call him.
Yeah, the bubbler, yeah.
Yeah, love it. No, we don't celebrate that hard here. But yeah, we do wear clown wigs and crown hats. So yeah, get amongst it.
Yeah, good. Let's get into a weekly preview.
He's heating up.
Now, mate, when we talk about daily schedules and back-to-backs, it's a little bit different in SuperCoach from what it is the NBA fantasy world. So we won't sort of distort our viewers too much on that. But we do want to bring up who's playing the 2-game week, 3-game week, and so forth. So
yeah.
Clippers, they are the only team with a 2-game week this week. So if you're looking at like a James Harden or a Kawhi Leonard or whoever else from that squad, I'd probably suggest steering away from it, Nathan.
Yeah, definitely on a 2-gamer. There's nobody really that I love from that anyway. I know Flanders started with James Harden, and I think the plan was it was always going to be a 1-week play. So, yeah, James Harden week 1, that's fine, move him on. The last thing you want when 29 teams in the NBA are playing either 3 or 4 games, you do not want any 2-gamers on your squad, and I don't think many people will have any anyway. They're not a popular team when it comes to NBA SuperCoach. So, yeah, crisis averted for the most part.
I think so. 3-game weeks. We've got Brooklyn. So you're looking at, Michael Porter's, Cam Thomas's and the like. Dallas, Cooper Flagg. Very well-owned. Anthony Davis as well. Denver, Big Jokic. If you've got him, don't sell him. He's got a 3-game week this week. Detroit Pistons, Cade Cunningham and the like. Houston Rockets. You can potentially target your Şengün's or your Amen Thompsons or your Kevin Durant's if you like now. Indiana Pacers. Who knows who's going to be healthy there? Miami Heat. That's Pistols gang. Not touching them. Maybe Norman Powell. Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis, we're still holding on to him. The Timberwolves, Edwards is out. Saw a comment earlier about Julius Randle. We're not going there. He's going to suck sooner rather than later. New York Knicks, there's no Tibbs there, so there's no real value there for me. Portland Trailblazers, be keen to hear your thoughts on Denny Avdia in a minute, Braino. Sacramento Kings, not touching them either, especially not Sabonis, with the lack of assist numbers he's getting now. San Antonio Spurs, wheels up Wemby. That's our MVP this year. And the Washington Wizards, Braino. Keyshawn George. My God, for a young player, that man can play basketball.
We talked about it because we just did the NBA fantasy preview for the week. So much more relevant about him. But I tell you what, Keyshawn George, probably one of the most purchased players this week for good reason. Great break, negative break even this week. Most improved player candidate, to be honest. Opportunity galore in Washington. You've got fossils around him like CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton. Bub Carrington's not doing anything to win any games, let alone win any awards. And they're going to need Keyshawn George to do some stuff. I am concerned people are overreacting to one game. He's been good, don't get me wrong, but he is notoriously a poor field goal guy. He is not going to shoot 560 from the field. At the moment, that's what he's averaged over the first 3 games of the season for Washington. So just temper your expectations on Keyshawn George. He will be good. He will make you money, 100%. But do not expect him to go those 30-plus games, SuperCoach scoring anyway, consistently.
So in saying that, is Keyshawn George a must-have this week?
No, not a must. Not a must. Nice to have. For sure. And I'm not going to talk anyone out of it. They've got a okay schedule coming up, but it's not amazing either. And also, I'm always concerned about picking players on shit teams. And yes, he's going to have great opportunity, but everybody loaded up on Devin Booker. The problem with when you pick and when you are the guy on a shit team, teams just double you. And we saw what happened to Devin Booker this week. He just got crowded and flooded. Everyone else did things around him. But he just didn't have the space or the room because he was the guy, and they knew that if they shut down Devin Booker, they won. So that's probably one concern with Keyshawn George is if he continues to go this well, he's going to get some extra attention.
Yeah, probably more relevant to the fantasy basketball element over SuperCoach for me as well. Denny Avdia, he's the other one I wanted to ask you about. So a portion of the community picked Denny Avdia based on his stats on the last half of last year.
Yeah.
Started to come into it somewhat this year, but hasn't exceeded expectations by any stretch of the imagination. If you've got Denny, are you holding, or are you looking to go sideways into perhaps say Jimmy Butler, who's a similar price and he's on a 4-game week?
Yeah, look, the Golden State Warriors schedule is fantastic, isn't it? They go 3 4-game weeks in a row, so I can't talk anybody out of going to Jimmy Butler. He's been fantastic. the first week. Nearly made me regret my Chet Holmgren swap to him at the last minute. But thankfully, Chet pulled out an all-timer in the third game of the week. But yeah, Denny's going to be good. And I think people are probably seeing what the worst of Denny in week one and reacting to what is probably going to be the worst run of scoring or pretty close to it. This is the floor. What we're getting at the moment is the floor of Denny Avdia. Once he settles into his work, he'll go on a bit of a run and he'll score really well. So I'm not worried, but would I trade him to Jimmy Butler? Yeah. If I was pressed, I probably would.
Nice. What we're going to do now, mate, is we're going to get into the schedule. So, not the schedule, sorry. We're going to talk about the top 10 bought and the top 10 sold players as we're talking right now. So, Brian, I'm going to start with you, mate, when we're talking the top 10 most purchased players so far in week 2 of NBA SuperCoach.
Let's start with Cedric Coward. Now, this number is going up. I'm going to say rapidly. Because literally open this page at 13%, and since we've been recording, it's gone up to 14.7% of the community are buying Cedric Coward. He's got a negative 17 break even. He's on a 4-game week this week. Mm-hmm. Without Ty Jerome and Scottie Pippen Jr. in Memphis, the pathway to play 25 to 28 minutes a night is just clear as day. And we've seen in game 2 what he did last week when he scored that 20-odd points and got a ton of steals. And, that's what he can do. That's how good he is. Shout out to Matty, who nailed this one. He was super high on him all preseason and was targeting him not just in SuperCoach but in fantasy redraft. And he's nailed it. Like, he's been awesome. And I'd be really up. I genuinely think that he could be in the starting lineup for Jalen Wells within the month.
Love it. Yeah, Jalen Wells has done nothing to really interest me at the moment, so great shout there. Austin Reaves, number 2. He's currently being purchased by 9.1% of the community, and for good reason as well. Wheels up. Austin Reaves. Keyshawn George, 8.2%. He comes in at number 3. And then for people like me, I started without VJ Edgecombe, partly because he was on a 2-game week, so his price wasn't going to change, and that we got basically a free look at him. He looks really good, Braino, and at 6.2% purchased at the moment, 4-game week this week, you could nearly start him.
I'm very tempted. The beauty, and I guess maybe for people that aren't aware, prices change after 3 games. So there were 6 teams on 2 games last week. VJ Edgecombe was one of them. Also Bulls players and a few others that we'll talk about a little bit later. But VJ Edgecombe only played 2 games last week, which means he comes into 4 games this week. So everything, sadly, that he did last week is not going to contribute to his price increase. So if he goes out there and shits the bed on the final 3 games of this week, those are the 3 games that are going to be taken into consideration for his price increase. But the benefit is that we can still get him at his starting price this week. So you haven't missed anything. Same with guys like Reed Shepherd. You missed on that for a good reason. But VJ Edgecombe, honestly, I don't call must-have much in this format. I don't believe in must-haves this much in this and BBL. But VJ Edgecombe could be as close to a must-have as there is in this game.
I agree. Big Vic Wembanyama in the middle, 5.9% owned. His ownership is still only at 41%, believe it or not, Braino. Ryan Corkbrenner, the rookie from Charlotte, at number 6, 5% purchased at the moment. Still only 8% of the community owning him. Steph Curry, with that gorgeous schedule that he's got over the next 4 weeks, he's at number 7, still only 11% owned. Kind of in pod territory, isn't he, at only 11% owned?
Yeah, I'm surprised at that ownership. I mean, look, maybe it's people aren't looking at the schedule, Horse. But you've got 12 games over the next 3 weeks. This is the best schedule ever. And will Steph Curry play all 12 of those games? No. I think he will rest on a couple. So that's maybe my slight caveat on Steph Curry. Is aside from the chance of a rest, just due to his age, he is a slam dunk pick this week. If you're looking to get off Luka, Steph Curry is one of the guys that I'll be putting my hand up for. You already mentioned, did we mention? Oh, we're about to mention the next one that is probably the other guy if you have a bit more cash in your pocket.
Yeah. So AJ Mitchell's at number 8, 3.5% purchased already, but number 9 and number 10, not surprisingly, SGA. He's got a fantastic schedule as well, 2.8% owned, and Giannis at number 10. 2.2% owned. SGA and Giannis, though, Braino, 26 and 36 own respectively. Still kind of low.
Yeah. I mean, look, the price point, obviously you can only get a couple of these guys. Maybe these people had Luca and who else? Wemby, probably. They probably started with Luca, Wemby, and someone else that's around that price point. Maybe they tried to take a pot on an AD or something. But look, honestly, we called Giannis a must-have at the start of the year. Nothing's changed. If you don't have him, get Giannis. He is going to just do some freaky stuff. Him and Wemby are probably the set and forget this year, where you go, yep, cool, you can just sit in my team. And honestly, yeah, Jokic is going to come good at some point. I think that time will be next week. So be really mindful around what your trades look like this week to free the cash up you need to find a pathway to get Jokic for his first 4-game week of the season.
That's in week 3, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Even though Jokic was a little disappointing in week 1, we're not riding the big guy off. He will come back. Now, Braino.
He scored 41 in game 2. Like, what are people disappointed about? Like honestly, if I started with him, if I started with him, that's fine. Like, I'd be a little disappointed, but for the most part, like, you've got the best player in the game in, or maybe the second best this year if Wemby goes nuts. But absolutely nothing to panic about with Nikola Jokic. He will still be the primary target for me in week 3.
100%. Yeah. And part of my strategy, as the guys in the Patreon will find out later on, is that I'm going to bank some cash this week to make sure I can get to Jokic next week. Braino, the top 10 most sold already this week. And no surprise, the top 2 are the 2 injured guys who are going to miss potentially all of this week for Andrew Nemhard, but Luka Doncic as well, number 1 and number 2 on this list.
Yeah, no surprise. You cannot have $19.43 million sitting on your bench doing nothing for you. This format is not hey, hold your players. It's a max trade format. You get 70-odd trades in the season. It's only a 23-week season. Use them or lose them. This is where I think you prioritise your on-field points. I'll be making a couple of moves this week that will free up a little bit of money on these cash cows, and we've mentioned both of them in the previous. To be able to facilitate some moves that will get Luka to somebody else, whether it's Steph, whether it's SGA, whether it's a pod that I'm looking at in maybe it's Austin Reaves. It could be one of those guys. And I think Luka needs to go this week. Anybody considering maybe holding Luka? The problem becomes as well, reevaluated in a week doesn't mean returning in a week. So what if he's out for 2 weeks and you've just wasted a week with 19 million on your bench, not scoring points? So move him on this week. Buy him back next week if he's good. Yep,
spot on. Before we get stuck into it more, Nath, like, subscribe, and bell. Give us a thumbs up. If we get this to, let's say, 75 likes, Matrix, he's the bottom scorer. We'll get him on social media in a clown wig for everyone in the NBA SuperCoach community to see. He's not getting away from scoring, bottom scorer, not being here tonight, Braino.
Not at all. No, he will. He will wear the clown wig at some point. Maybe he just goes back-to-back clown weeks. You never know. We're pretty good, so let's see if he can bounce back.
Ace Bailey, number 3. I'm not quite sure I agree with this one, though, Braino. 6.6% of the community are trading him out. Anthony Edwards, I can agree with, given that hamstring issue. Colin Murray-Boyles, he's being traded out by 3.2% of the community. Paolo Banchero, 2.6% of the community are trading him out. Jalen Wells, for good reason. He's been shipped off, only 6% owned now. Nikola Jokic is inside the top 10, though, Braino. 2% of the community that owned him are selling him.
Don't rate it. That's terrible. Don't do it. Reverse the trade. If you're one of those that you're watching this show, just reverse that trade and just keep Jokic. He's on a 3-game week. He's still Jokic. He still could outscore 97% of the competition on a 3-game week, even if they have 4 games. He's just elite. And don't panic now. If you had him and you started with him, it's a complete waste of a trade getting rid of him now.
The last 2 or 3, mate. KPJ getting traded out, 1.8% of the community. Zachary Rishashir at 1.7. You being a Hawks fan, I know he missed the last 2 games last week. His price is not going to change. Are you holding him or are you selling him?
I would be fine holding him. I think I'm going to just, based on the structure of my team and the other players, I initially planned on just using Chet as a 1-week play. And I'm still toying around with what I do with that, whether I use Chet to free the money up and then I can make some moves elsewhere, or whether I just use Ricochet, get him down to a Cedric Coward or a Keyshawn George or one of those kind of facilitators there in that position and, move him on. I'm not confident that he plays I'm not confident that he plays every game for the Hawks this week. I think there's every chance he might play 2 or 3. We don't obviously have the update yet, considering we're recording at night. We'll know in the morning, though. Patreon subscribers will get to know that. So if you want to become a Patreon subscriber, links below. If you ask me point blank whether I'd sell or hold, I'd probably sell, just due to the fact that we've seen now, and we've got a bit more data, a week of data, that there's probably some better options there by him.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And the last 2 that I want to talk about, they're not inside the top 10, but they are number 11, number 12. It's Cade Cunningham, so 1.6%. I can understand that, given that his high score so far is 22. And when you're spending 17 mil, you want some more upside than that. And Derek White, even though he's got a 4-game week this week, 1.5% of the community are scared off by the percentages that he was throwing up this week, Braino.
Yeah, this is another reverse. Get that, there's a little button at the top. It's at the top left somewhere in your page, and it says undo changes. Yeah, just click on that and just reverse that Derek White trade. People are, and again, Kiz has hit the nail on the head. You guys forget everyone gets FOMO and chases last week's scores, but they also run away from last week's poor scores. And for me, Derek White is a reactionary trade. I think he's going to be good. He'll come good. I'm confident in that he'll come good. I would trade out. There's a few other players I'd trade out before I'd trade out Derek White. Nothing's really changed. The opportunity's still there. He just hasn't shot well. That's gonna come good eventually, and I think the usage is going to take a little bit of a bump as well. It just depends on how many more games Jaylen Brown misses because of his painted-on hairline. That's probably the big question, because then Derek White gets a bit of a usage bump. He's playing with a bit of a hammy issue, isn't he, Jaylen Brown? Hammy/hairline problem?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Third world problems to have. I don't have much of a hairline myself, but when
maybe you should get the old Sharpie out.
Get the old Sharpie and give myself a bit of a Mr. T type of thing going on. Oh, geez, I'd look good. But
I'll tell you what, is that the first time you've ever seen someone's hairline rub off on a player as they go into a triple threat?
Yes.
Just rubs it straight across OG Anunoby's jersey. Disgraceful. I've seen some fucking awesome memes on the internet too, where they've done his hairline real thick like Texter, but then they've also brought it down into his beard, so he just looks like a cartoon. It's fucking hilarious.
It looks like a bloody Lego man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's rotten.
Yeah,
it's rotten.
terrible. Just shave it, mate. Yeah. You can't hold on to something that's not there. But anyway, that's enough about his hairline and our top 10 sold and bought players. Braino, we're going to talk about some captaincy options now. And for me, week 2, it's going to be my point guard for me. It's SGA. So thanks to Kizza, he's in the chat. We did some research before the season started, and while Jalen Williams is out, the good Jalen Williams, not the one that sat on our bench and gave us 11 points this week, but his usage goes up to almost 40. And we saw in a couple of these games, even though they went to double overtime, that the ball just lives in his hands, and he is a bit of a free throw merchant. But in SuperCoach, we love that because it's just cheap points from the line. So 4 games this week, SGA, you wouldn't expect him to miss any games. That's where my C's headed.
Yep. Can't argue against that. I mean, look, I could, but I won't. I think SGA will probably average close to 40 this year. Based on what we've seen, he gets to the free throw line so well. It's just 3 points. And yes, you don't get the other stats, the big, heaps of assists and rebounds and all that kind of stuff. And I think also people need to be a little bit not concerned, but just be wary of the fact that they played in back-to-back overtime games where he got an extra 2 quarters of play. So, yeah, actually, no, we got an extra 4 quarters of play across 2 games. So it's probably just worth, tempering expectations on SGA. Those numbers won't just maintain, but he is the guy. So, yeah, I have no issue at all with that. The sports guy one is on my wavelength of thinking at the moment in Austin Reaves. If I bring Austin Reaves in, I'll tell you what, there is every chance I could chuck the captaincy on him this week. Portland, Minnesota, Memphis, Miami. They're not tough matchups.
I like 3 of those 4.
Yeah, I mean, the Miami one might be tough because Davion Mitchell's a demon on defense. That might be a bit of a tricky one. No one is stopping him in Memphis. Minnesota. Who's stopping him in Minnesota? Probably
Jaden
no one.
McDaniels.
Yeah, that's fair. It just depends on how they guard Ayton as well, though. They might
just don't.
Yeah. Just
He
leave him open.
fucks it up himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair call. And then Portland, it could be anything. I just feel like maybe Austin Reaves could be a shout. If people are buying Austin Reaves this week, we just rattled off the 3 scores that Austin Reaves has had without LeBron and without Luka in the team. He can put up one of those scores. I mean, he scored 62 SuperCoach points, which is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is it a season high from week 1? Is that the highest individual score from a game this week?
Yes.
So
Wemby was, but yeah, he eclipsed that. Yes.
He's not going to go and score 50 points every night. But look, if he goes, he puts up a Luka stat line and goes 35, 10, and 8 with a couple of steals, we're looking at a 50-point game from Austin Reaves. And he's shown us that he can do that without those two in the team. So good little captaincy shout. And also, look, the obvious picks are Giannis and Wemby. I actually, maybe it's recency bias somewhat, but Wemby just looks like a different alien human. Like,
he looks unreal, doesn't he?
The blocks and the stocks that he's getting. He's averaging 51 points per game at the moment over the first 3 weeks. Like, that's the safest captaincy option for me to start this way. Even on a 3-game week, that's safe for me. I just want to take the upside swing on a Reaves or someone like that that can potentially score a 160, 170. But Wemby's probably a safe 150, to be fair.
Yeah. I like it. Any other shouts? Giannis is on a 3-game week, so probably not.
Steph, if you believe that he's not going to be rested, I think Steph's a good shout. He's looking like he's scoring at least 25 to 30 a night at the moment. The one thing I've really liked about him is that he's been relatively efficient too, Steph. Like, he hasn't been taking a ton of shit shots. The peripheral stats seem to be up a little bit this year as well. He's a good stealer of the ball, good passing lane guy. So for me, Steph is definitely a shout that I want to be looking at as well this week.
Yeah. And Mad Dog down here, love that. He's got the
100%.
Atlanta Hawks singlet on too. Love that. Jokic is a C option.
100%.
Absolutely he is.
From now on, whenever, I mean, look, and even week 8, when 3/4 of the team are on a 2-game week, that could be a Jokic captaincy option week that week as well. Every other relevant option in week 8, Wemby, Giannis, all these guys are all on 2-game weeks. So, yeah, well, Jokic now from week on, every single week will be a captaincy option until the end of the season.
Yep, 100%. Braino, is there anything else you'd like to
add? Actually, one thing. We didn't talk at all about Matas Buzelis. Now, people are a little bit concerned. We were super high on Matas Buzelis. Some people have started with him on their bench. Even some people had him on court last week. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about him first, before I talk with Matas Buzelis? Are you concerned now? We've had a few questions in the chat about him. Where are you at with him this week? If you did have him, of course he's a hole. But if you didn't have him, are you happy to watch another week, or do you still think he's a guy we need this week?
Is he a must-have? No, but would I like him? Yes. He's 6.7 mil or whatever he is. He's almost bottom dollar. And you're talking about a guy can potentially score you 30 in a game, no worries. He's had issues with foul troubles, and I get that. And the last game wasn't great. He fouled it, 24 minutes he may have played. But
less.
When you get,
it's like 14 or 15 minutes.
When you get the best of Buzelis, he is awesome. Whether you play him or not, he's going to make you cash. I'm happy to go out it's not even out on a limb. He will make you cash. But it's whether you want to play him or whether you want to go another week and just go, well, all right, is he in form? Is he not? Who's the offense running through? Does Trey Jones really make that much of a difference that Buzelis isn't getting the ball as much now? Or, yeah, the ball is in your hands at home, ladies and gentlemen. But, yeah, if you've got the chance to grab him, and even like if you're happy him sitting on your bench and then you just wait, happy days. But for me, I'm not purchasing him this week.
I am tempted to purchase him. I'm more of a Matas Buzelis believer. We saw and we got glimpses of what he's capable of last year down the stretch, and also through the preseason and in game 1. He got 3 blocks in game 1. Like, this is a guy who, out of position, will be able to get you stocks. He's a great stealer of the ball, great block guy. Scored 21 points in game 1. Everybody, I think what did he score? 26 SuperCoach points in game 1? That's good enough on a 4-game week for 104 points at a guy that's priced at 6.7 million. We need to remember that this guy, aside from the foul trouble that he had last game, is a slam dunk pick. Like, I just think that he is definitely someone you need to consider, along with the Cedric Cowards, and I understand the temptation of cash with Cedric Coward and prioritising that. even with Keyshawn George and Kalkbrenner and all these guys, they will make you money. But Mattis Buzelis on a 4-game week is a very good playable option this week, and a guy that will also free up some pretty good money if you need to get to SGA, or you need to correct the trade and get to Wemby, or you want to get Jokic on a 3-game week, which is also fine. I'll be waiting, but Buzelis is a playable guy this week at nearly a rookie price that I think people have been scared off by 1 game of foul trouble.
Yep.
So definitely you need to be considering him this
The
week.
4 games this week as well do help.
Yeah. Yeah, and the schedule's okay from here. It's just we avoided them from week 1 because of the 2-game week. And obviously the bad game that he had is emphasised because there's only 2 games of data to look at. So for me, I'm still keen on Buzelis. And we've seen a few questions in the chat about him. I just wanted to make sure we covered that.
Yep, love it. And Denny Avdia, are you holding? If you had him.
No, I said I'd go Denny Avdia to Jimmy Butler. That's probably the only player I'd go to, purely because I think Jimmy Buckets is going to play the 4 games, and he's looked really good to start the year. And he's going to play 12 games in the next 3 weeks. Just obviously pending injury, hopefully not. But yeah, he's a guy I don't have in my team. I probably won't get him this week just because I don't have the cash and I have some other moves I want to make. But yeah, I'd probably sell Denny. Just Portland's schedule also isn't that great. So that's if Denny was on 4-game weeks, I'd be happy to probably hold on to him. But there's other players I want to target from the schedule.
Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us for this evening. 45 minutes of the best here talking NBA SuperCoach. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, bell. If you listen to us on audio, the 5-star review, it helps us get out into the ears of those that love a little bit of banter along with their SuperCoach knowledge. Again, as Braino and I have mentioned throughout the podcast this evening, the link to the Patreon is down below in the description. For less than a third of a cup of coffee per month, you get access to our WhatsApp chat, our Patreon articles, our buy, hold, sell articles, our captaincy articles, and a whole lot more. And us 24/7 to help you guys at home beat your mates, bragging rights, but also do well in the very first year of NBA SuperCoach. Braino, thanks for your time tonight, mate.
Always a pleasure sitting in the passenger seat. I enjoyed this. Got to chat a little bit more and not ask questions, so that was fun. One other thing, we got Pod Watch as well. So for those of you who like a spicy pod, I'll be doing a Pod Watch article before we tip off tomorrow morning. So if you want to, Patreon's the place to get that. And we'll be putting our final teams and final trades in there as well. So if you want to get an idea on what our heads look like, you can see that every week. It's not a great view, but you can also have a look at our teams in the Patreon. So yeah, get involved. Only $10 a month. So and also, Horse, BBL's coming.
Oh, what a time to be alive!
Fucking hell.
I'm great that I've got this and the
this.
community that we have, because she gets sick of me talking sport. So I just get to sit on my phone and talk shit with the boys or whoever it is in the chats, and then come on here and interact with the community. It's great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Look, I'm looking forward to it anyway. I think it'll be pretty busy for us with NBA daily and then BBL daily through the Christmas period. I might have to say goodbye to my wife for about 6 to 8 weeks, but maybe she'll be happy about that. I don't know. We'll find out now. When's it opening? End of the week, apparently.
End of the week, apparently, yes.
So we'll do a BBL team reveal. Get Deadly involved as well. Obviously, Deadly, big part of the Big Three over at the Surges and Sixers podcast. So yes, stay tuned for BBL. That's going to be fun. That'll open at the end of the week. We'll do a first reactions team reveal when the app opens as well. So should be good.
Yep, 100%. And for those, I know we spoke a little bit the NRL show tonight, but as per the AFL show, ladies and gentlemen, I always sign off with saying it's okay to not be okay and it's not weak to speak. So if you're struggling at home, or if you've got those mental demons that are trying to take over, reach out to someone. Reach out to a family member. There's helplines out there as well. The most important person in this world is you. So remember, it is okay not to be okay, and it's not weak to speak. I'm the Horse. This has been Braino. It's been a blast, and we'll catch you again next week. Peace.